Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
Processing language.
You need to learn how things work on this island.
Hello.
Goslings imprint on the first thing they see.
Which would be you?
Here is another now.
I do not have the programming.
No one does. He needs to swim and fly.
Swimming's easy. I can teach him the way my mom taught me. Swim! He's a runt. His chances aren't super good.
I will protect him.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me Classic Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And today you're reviewing a new 3D movie, The Wild Robot. As per usual, we'll talk about the 3D aspect first. So, how was the 3D aspect of The Wild Robot?
It was pretty good. Not as great as a lot of animated features are. It looks like they pulled back on the pop-outs, I guess to rest little kids' eyes or something. I mean, it wasn't disappointing, not really, but it could have been much better.
I know DreamWorks usually does a pretty good job on 3D, so this is pretty standard, good, but not like great or exceptional or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I'd call fine.
All right. There's a lot of dark scenes.
Yeah, and a lot of bright scenes, but it was rounded, it had some depth, but it really didn't have any pop-outs per se. Maybe it was presentation, but I mean, it's fine. It's one of those things, if you can only see this in 2D, it's fine. The 3D really didn't add really an extra element to the story. It didn't really improve the film-going experience.
So it was decent, but just not like, ooh, this is very nice. This is worth the money.
Yeah, it's not like must see, well worth the money. Nah. 2D viewing experience will be fine for this movie.
Okay. I guess in a way that is disappointing because the trailers, had a lot of potential in them when we saw them. We were like, ooh, this could look really pretty. So, yeah. And then DreamWorks, like I said before, typically do a really good job. They did all the How to Train Your Dragon movies and such. So, oh well, it is what it is. What is your final score for the Wild Robot 3D score?
6 out of 10.
All right. Now let's get to the movie itself. We were kind of back and forth about this movie before it came out because the first trailer really impressed us, and the second trailer really kind of diminished some of our feelings on it. Now, I have not seen this movie. You have. How is the final result?
It's a good movie. I mean, it's emotional. It's moving. It's not too cliched. It's really violent for a PG movie. Like Want to Train Your Dragon, it doesn't really pull punches of the kind of the disappointments and hardships of life.
Okay. What's going on here?
Okay, there's an island from little hints dropped. I think it's up around it's an island without people. It's animals, and they live together, but not real. It's predator prey kind of relationship. And there's a bad storm, and a ship crashes on the island, but you don't see it. You just see the aftermath. Some otters find some crates that have washed ashore, and they accidentally turn a robot on in one of these crates.
Okay.
And this robot just starts wandering around the island, trying and messing things up and just being horrible. But I mean, the robot doesn't know anything, and then the robot eventually goes into learning mode, so they can communicate with the people the animals on the island. But by this time, the animals are really scared of the robot.
Okay, and you just kind of follow. You just kind of follow the robot as it befriends the animals and learns to live on the
Yeah.
island.
hmm Then the robot gets into a kerfuffle with a fox over and accidentally crashes into a gosling goose nest, and there's only one survivor. I mean, the mother's killed, the hatchlings are killed, all the eggs are cracked except one. So the robot decides to hatch the egg and raise this guy, because eventually the egg hatches, and she's trying her best to raise this gosling, but she's a robot, so this is a very strange gosling.
Okay. The robot is named Roz, I think.
Roz, yes.
And it's voiced by Lupita Nyong.
Yeah, she does a very good job, very emotional for a robot. I mean, because she really balances this thing, a robot, but yet shows emotion.
Okay.
Because you can see the growth of the character as she learns. Yeah, 'cause she starts rewriting her programming and stuff to cope with her mission of raising this. Then she realizes that the gosling needs to migrate,
Mm-hmm.
and that means needs to learn how to fly. Of course, before it does that, has to learn how to float on water and swim. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of that. A robot trying to teach a gosling to float, swim, and eventually has to get help because the other birds won't. The geese don't want anything to do with this gosling. It's strange, and they bully him.
Okay.
And eventually, she finds a hawk to teach this gosling how to fly, because this is a runt, and the way geese fly, this bird's wings aren't long enough, but a hawk has very short wings, which these flying lessons come in handy later, because when they do migrate, they have to go somewhere, and they need to be led and fly some real fancy short wing maneuvers, and our hero, little Gosling, can do it because that's the way he was taught to fly.
Okay. And so there's an all-star cast here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get Pedro Pascal as Fox, I think it is, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Cathy O'Hara is here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is a otter, as a possum mom, and whose kids are hysterical. They when they you know how possum when they get scared they fake die.
Yeah.
Well, her kids do things like fake hanging, fake poison, really dramatic. I mean, it's hysterical.
Okay. So there's like a big contrast between the robot mechanical and the natural world, right?
Yeah, and then the robot, she builds a lodge, so she has a home, and then the weather, and because of climate change, the weather on the island really changes. The winters become much harsher. So she drags the animals into her lodge so they can survive this brutal winter.
And this
And
is
that's kind of Yeah, and that's when they kind of, wow, she saved us. And that becomes, they're kind of, and they make peace with each other.
It's a movie?
In the movie, yeah.
I mean, it's a very moving in how they present it.
Yeah.
Emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and then eventually the company that the robot, they track her down and they come for her. And the island and the animals protect her.
Okay.
But she knows they're going to keep coming, so she surrenders.
All right. Well, let's not give away too many parts of the story here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll stop here because there's still a lot more going on, and I just went over highlights of some of it.
How does the movie flow?
It flows very well. This is a serious contender for best animated feature. Yeah, this is an Inside Out 2 or the real there's a French movie which I'm not familiar. I don't know the name of it. Some guys say that may be a contender if it gets a release in the States. But that looks like. But this is a good movie.
Okay. So what is your final verdict for the movie itself?
I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
All right. I guess it's going to be it for our review, unless you're a patron. If you're a patron, stick around for our bonus features. All right. I guess that's going to be it for us. Bye.
Bye.
You know, I got one more thing to talk about. We have our own merch store.
Woohoo!
It's a print to order, and it's on the website right now.
Woohoo!
We got t-shirts, we got totes, we got cups, skirts, we got a little bit of everything. So I try to make these prices affordable. So you get some original designs. If you love 3D, like you listen to this podcast, you're going to love the products that we have here because it's all over 3D. And it's just 3dor2d.com/store. A link will be in the show notes. And if you just go to the website, it'll be there.
Woohoo!
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank MK Ultra, Gravity Head Zero, Travante Classics, and Axe Folk for being my super VIP patrons on Patreon. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dor2d@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.